How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, earlier today, the Wallabies announced their squad for the end-of-year tour, and they've got some amazing players, but they've got one special player that everybody seems to be raving about, and that's Carter Gordon. Is he the future of Australian rugby? And in this video, I want to break it down. I want to learn a little bit more about him, but I also want to break down the squad list that Australia have released. So please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow, and I want to hear what your thoughts are on Carter Gordon and whether he is the potential number 10 that can change things for the Wallabies. So please like, subscribe, let's get into it. So this squad is actually looking pretty fantastic. We do have the likes of Josh Canham, Pete Samu, Hamish Stewart, who are already part of the Australia A squad. But you do have the likes of Aiden Ross and Kalani Thomas that are uncapped players. So we could definitely see a couple new Wallabies be crowned for, during the end-of-year tour. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to dive too much into them because I don't really know much about them. If you do know about them and you've watched them before, please drop your thoughts in the comment section below. But otherwise, a lot of these forwards, a lot of these backs are pretty much what we got to see in the Rugby Championship. They really do seem like a revitalized squad, a changed squad, a squad that has teeth, that they will happily bite and they will happily put you on your backside. So looking at this from Taniela Tupou, Rob Ballatini, Jeremy Williams, Fraser McWright, who was one of the most dominant number sevens in the Rugby Championship, but not only that, one of the most dominant sevens in world rugby. From Tom Robertson, we saw Angus Bell, Alan Alatoa, big stocky forwards, and they've got so much depth of late in terms of their forwards that it is kind of scary. So you got to think they're only getting better. They are only getting better. So they have some serious talent here. And then you take a look into the backs. You got Filippo Dalgunu, who really started to show his worth in the late end of the Rugby Championship. We started to really see him play a bit more. Showed just how dominant he is when in terms of running with ball to hand. He's such a strong runner of the ball. But yeah, you saw someone like Tane Edmed fill in that number 10 role. We got to see a little bit of James O'Connor as well. But the big man, Carter Gordon, he is the big man coming from NRL, and all the word seems to be coming. He's moved with immediate effect, so it's going to be interesting to see how well he plays. He does seem to like that little grubber ball, which seems to be so deadly at times. But otherwise, Max Jorgensen, one of the most exciting prospects in world rugby right now. They got Dylan Peach coming back in. He started the Rugby Championship off so well, especially up against South Africa, and it's such a shame that he ended up getting an injury. But Corey Toole ended up filling in. The guy's so rapid, and this is the nice thing about Australia. They have got pace to burn. They don't know what to do with it. So having players like this, Sualii, you can't talk about Australia and not talk about Sualii. So he's been so dominant when it goes down to going forward. He's finding space. He's such a huge specimen of a center, and it's really interesting to see, how they're going to line up. Australia have a really scary set of backs, and having someone like Carter Gordon just come in, add that extra little bit of flair, that extra little bit of unpredictability, that ability to use that grubber ball that he loves to use that in the 22, just punt that ball into the I call it the end zone, but into the try zone, and just use that space. And I think he's definitely going to be able to use his kicking to his advantage, to the Australian advantage, and having so much pace is only going to help someone like Carter Gordon. But not only that, he's a brilliant kicker, but he also has his little darting inside runs that he loves so much. I did a little bit of research on him, and this guy, once he finds that little bit that little bit of space, I mean, we're seeing a lot of Sasha here. A lot of Sasha FM, where he'll work the ball out, he'll get everybody thinking he's going to play that skip pass, he's going to lay off immediately, cuts on the inside, finds a little bit of space, and darts for that try line. So yeah, very scary, very scary play, and a lot of scary backs. So this Australia side is looking dangerous. So all of these teams that they're going to be going up against, they are going to be put under immense pressure. We saw at the breakdown just how deadly the Wallabies can be and how much pressure they can put on you in the second half of the game. So very interesting to see in relation to that. I mean, we take a little bit more of a deeper dive into Carter Gordon. So 24 years old, 94 kg, pretty big guy. Pretty big guy. Now, he did play in the NRL. This is what he ended up playing in the Super Rugby Pacific. So 13 matches, started all 13, won 5, lost 8, 96 points. And I mean, this guy is pretty fantastic. He really is pretty fantastic. I mean, you look at this man and then you think he's only 24. He's only 24. Now, I haven't really seen much. I don't really watch NRL, but I hear he has been doing well. So it's going to be interesting to see how well he plays for Australia, how quickly he'll be able to adapt to this new Australian side under Schmidt, and if he'll be able to kind of just head straight on in, into the squad and be competing at the highest level. Only time will tell in relation to that, but he does look like a man worth his salt. So I mean, we take a look into here now. Before I do continue, I do not own any of this content. I just use it under fair use laws. I want to try and break it down. I want to try and educate, and I want to try and learn most of all about Carter Gordon and how he plays. So yeah, let's try and break this down as best as possible. So, I mean, we watch here, and this is what I was saying. I watched a little bit already, but look at how he manages to utilize the space, but he uses a perfect weight on the ball to allow the players to be able to really find that space. Now, you see how these three players here, these Springboks, they are so tight. He found that little bit of space, and you have all three of these that are now out and open into space. So watch what they're going to do. Perfect weighting of the ball, right? Watch. Straight in, and he's already there in support, waiting for everything to happen. He's already making his darting run. As you can see right here, this, I think is the number 11. He's going to draw in, and Carter is going to run in here just to open that space. And look at that defensive line. Nobody is covering Carter Gordon. And watch what happens. Out. Now, Carter Gordon does have pace. He does have pace to burn. So, as you can see, players are trying to keep up with him. Not having it. And he ends up finding that try line. So, albeit South Africa did end up giving them a good hiding, this was a brilliant work of play from Carter Gordon. There we go. Again. So, again, let's take a look here. I think we're going to see a little bit more of the action here. Watch, it's going to come out. Grubber. Finding that little bit of space once again. He does this so well. He draws in 1, 2, expecting. And then they find this little pocket of space out here. That little pocket of space. Perfectly weighted ball again. Not too hard, not too soft. Just right to give enough time. Again, we're going to see this happening again. Watch here. Look at that open space. Now, you can call it a little bit lucky and potentially the bounce of the ball, but the kick was just perfectly weighted. I mean, such a perfectly weighted ball gave them more than enough time to be able to keep up with the ball and to be able to control it perfectly. But again, the guy, he reads the game so well. You can see his eyes. You can see his line of sight. He's prepared. He was ready for that skip pass. I think he must have just felt it, but you could tell he was ready for that skip pass. He really was, and as you can see, he's got pace to burn. This guy, he is rapid, and for a 10, he is rapid. So having that speed as well, playing for Australia, is only gonna help them so much. Now we watch back here. Lovely work. Oh, beautiful. Excellent. I don't think you could have asked for a better kick. I really don't. I think this one's going to be another interception. Yeah, I think this one does end up being another interception. Watch how this man plays. He's expecting it, and he comes straight in and uses, and you can see him really opens up his legs. He expects the ball to come out. You can already see him just here. I actually managed to catch this guy in a brilliant face. But you watch the pace that he comes at. He is expecting that ball out. Gone. Nobody's expecting him. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant work. Again, with that kick. And I think using someone like Corey Toole, using someone like Max Jorgensen, using someone like Dylan Peach, and having that pace, having that know-how, finding those right spaces, and then having someone like Carter Gordon to be able to pick out these little kicks and these little, masterwork. But again, look at the weight of the ball. Look at the weight of the ball. The pace that he managed to put in. This is so easy to to overhit or to underhit. He just seems to find that right, that perfect weight. Even the bounce is so perfect. Down. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And if this is what we are to expect from Carter Gordon, I cannot wait to see more of him. I really cannot wait to see more of this guy. He seems absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. I think this is going to be a darting inside run. Yeah, again, all I see is Sasha here. But you see how he dummies that man and he finds that little pocket of space once again. Still to be able to open up his body. Out. Beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So if we do get to see more of this, I cannot wait to see more of Carter Gordon. This guy, he really seems to be worth his salt. The guy is brilliant. And he's still young. He's 24 years old. You have to take this into consideration. But the way he reads the game is something special. And I think Australia really have a brilliant talent here. Only time will tell whether he will be able to improve Australia for the better, because I think they are still missing just a couple places, and that fly half position is definitely someone or somewhere where you want someone that is going to be of an elite caliber. You look at pretty much anywhere in World Rugby, every team has that elite caliber fly half. I mean, for the All Blacks, you have someone like Beauden Barrett. For the Springboks, for different reasons, you have someone like Sasha, who's exciting. You have someone like Andre Pollard, who's so consistent. You know he's going to get the job done. For England, you have someone like Marcus Smith, Finn Smith, even they got a whole bunch of different players, but personally right now I'd probably say Finn Smith, who is another exciting prospect at 10. France, Antoine Dupont, it will normally play 10, the 9. He can play the 10. You have Roman Ntamak, who's one of the best fly halves in the world. He plays at the 10. I can continue, and it's just like every team, every top tier team needs that gem at 10, because they're going to have that general at 9, but they need that maestro at 10 that's going to make the team tick. And I think this is exactly what he does. He ticks every single box that I could see that Australia could potentially want. So honestly, I am loving this squad. This squad is phenomenal. They've still got a lot of work to do, don't get me wrong. They've got a lot to prepare for the World Cup, but looking at the squad, they've got all the talent necessary to really put in a brilliant end of the year and hopefully come away with a lot of big wins. So please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in relation to this. And